first year, good afternoon. So kindly comment your name or complete name in the chat section for your attendance and your e-copy. Kindly write your correct name. Naka-off pala ako. Naka-off pala ako. Kanina ko pala lang ginadeny yung iba. Bakit ginadeny ko? Iba kaya? Anong nangyari doon? Okay, we will left for, we will be waiting for 10 minutes for the others to join. So we can start earlier. Mani nanay kong Google Meet, bagay. Ikaw lang istorya. Sila gani.
Gani ka.
Naka-off ang mic.
Hindi ka lang mamati. Oh. Two hours lang, ma'am, no?
Less than ma'am
Less than?
Oo, more or less. Yes. Kung wala sila pamangkot namin gani kay para maaga matapos. Pero kasi may pamangkot sila. Mababait man yung mga first year.
Yeah. Okay. Anong ba ang work ng hospitality management, hospital base?
And now ma'am, we are working in the hotel, restaurant, tourism ma'am. Hospitality, accommodation, and the food and beverage ma'am.
Ay, for your course, no, daw, HRM na
Yeah, HRM. Hindi na HRM kasi yan ang pangalan ng college.
Hospitality management. Okay.
Dating hotel and restaurant, ngayon hospitality management niyan kasi maraming covers.
Mm-mm. Kamahal ba naman sa ano nila course?
Laboratory mahal. OJT.
Oo.
Privilege yan sila ma'am, kay may US based niyan sila na OJT at saka Asian countries.
Mm-mm. Pila ka student expected mo, ma'am?
There are 135 pero mga 40 and 50% lang maka-join nito ma'am. Usually ganun. Siguro dyan sa mga ano lang sa 50 or 60.
Mm-mm.
Hindi ko talaga ma-force yung iba kasi hindi lang ako nagka-comment. Yung iba nagpaalam. Sabi, announce naman ito. Compliance kasi ito for the completion of the course. So, kung wala ito, hindi pa complete ang course. So,
Pero first year.
they are first year. Sige na ma'am, another 5 minutes ma'am.
Okay.
So good na ta.
Tingala na sila nga ako nga profile pic nila bata. Agay, edad nila.
Kamukha mo man ma'am. Okay. Thirty. There are only 30 participants. Pwede ko makita ng mga video ninyo. Video nyo ba? Open yung videos nyo, please. Right. Good afternoon to everyone. Okay, so this afternoon we'll be having our first and last webinar on risk management. Particularly on the topic no food handling, food safety and sanitation, no, as it is applied kasi risk management yung course ninyo as applied to food safety, security and sanitation. So as it is one of your major requirements, So this is a must, no? So your course will not be completed without this webinar that we have. So after this, you will be having a final activity, no? Yung reflection niyo, that is why you have to listen carefully and capture the most interesting statement from ma'am, from our resource speaker, kasi nga yun ang magiging output niyo. So the objective of this, of course, to give you awareness, no, strengthen your management skills, and as well as yung knowledge niyo also about the course. No, kasi this will not happen again. So ito lang yung schedule natin. So we will be glad kasi nandyan si ma'am, and privileged kasi nandyan si Ma'am Lovely si Byra, ay City Health Office as Sanitary Inspector 5. So we will be privileged from her expertise. So ma'am, thank you so much because you are making this day available for them. So medyo matagalan ko pa ito na si ma'am ba na-confirm. So na ba na tayo doon? This time, I think they were ready, ma'am. So I am giving you the floor to start the webinar.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay na, ma'am. Andiyan na, ma'am.
Okay, nakapresent na, ma'am. Food safety. PowerPoint. Pin lang po ng PowerPoint first year, and kindly off your mic. So, si ma'am lang na pwede magsalita. If you have question, please open nyo, erase yung hands nyo, and please do not forget to comment your correct name sa chat section, ha? Kaya yan yung basis natin for a certificate. Okay, sige na po, ma'am.
Okay, let's start. Okay, guys, all set na ba tayo lahat?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ang topic po natin ngayon is about food safety. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm so also happy, to discuss this food safety topic to all of you. Okay, so next slide. So the Food Safety Act of 2013, also known as Republic Act 10611. So it is an act to strengthen the food safety regulatory system in the country to protect consumer health and facilitate market access of local foods and food products, and for other purposes. So as we all know, that is the duty, it is the duty of the state to protect and promote the right to health of the people. So this policy, the Food Safety Act, or also known as the RA 10611, was enacted and declared as Food Safety Act last August 23, 2013. So what are the objectives of this Food Safety Act? Okay, we have here letter A, to protect the public from foodborne and waterborne illnesses and unsanitary, unwholesome, misbranded or adulterated foods. And next, enhance industry and consumer confidence in the food regulatory system. And
This
C,
call is now
to
being
achieve
recorded.
economic growth and development by promoting fair trade practices and sound regulatory foundation for domestic and international trade.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is food safety? So let us discuss now what is food safety is all about. So food safety, it refers to the assurance that food will not cause harm to the consumer when it is prepared or eaten according to its intended use, and how food is handled to prevent foodborne illness. So the purpose of food safety is, of course, the main purpose is to prevent foodborne illness. So the foodborne illness, what is foodborne illness? Okay, so foodborne illness, it is an illness resulting from the spoilage of contaminated food, pathogenic bacteria, viruses, parasites that contaminate food, as well as toxins. So it occurs when you consume contaminated food or beverages. And foodborne illness outbreak, so nagkakaroon tayo ng foodborne illness outbreak, or what you call the food poisoning. So because of what causes the foodborne illness, they are caused by variety of bacteria, viruses, and parasites. So they are the one that contaminate foods that causes foodborne illnesses. Okay, so over 250 billion meals are prepared every year. An estimated 24 to 81 million foodborne illnesses occurs. And of course, more than 10,000 foodborne associated deaths, and the cost of it is from $7.7 to $23 billion a year. An example of foodborne illness. Have you ever heard about the 27 kids who suffered food poisoning, and the 27 kids at the San Jose Elementary School in Bohol died because of food poisoning? So these kids were brought to the hospital, and 100 kids were sickened, but the 27 kids died. This is due to cassava, or the deep fried caramelized cassava, as their snack. So the cassava is poisonous unless it is peeled and cooked thoroughly. But if it's not cooked thoroughly, no, it has this deadly poison called cyanide. So the cyanide is the one that killed 27 kids. This happens in Bohol, San Jose Elementary School. And another one example of the food poisoning is during the birthday of Imelda, Ma'am Imelda Marcos. She had her birthday party wherein 260 guests experienced vomiting and diarrhea. But all were treated at Manila Hospital, and they have just eaten chicken adobo, eggs, and rice only, but they suffered food poisoning. So every day in television, as we watch, so many news about foodborne illness. And because of that, it is very important for us to know about food safety, to stop or to avoid foodborne illnesses. Okay. So, what are the symptoms and causes of foodborne illness? Okay, we'll talk first about the causes. So, we have here the biological hazards, which includes the bacteria, viruses, molds, and parasites. Next is the chemical hazards, which examples are the cleaning agents, natural toxins, and pesticides, as well as the physical hazards, mga bones, broken glass, metals, hair, jewelries. So these three hazards are the causes of foodborne illness. Okay. Or they are called the contaminants: biological, chemical, and physical hazards. So next, symptoms of foodborne illness. Of course, if you experience nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, headache, and itchiness, and you have eaten a contaminated food, and you experience or you have these symptoms, okay, I hope you will not experience these symptoms, because if you will experience this one, you have eaten a contaminated food, I am pretty sure that you will have a foodborne illness. Okay. And next, sources of foodborne hazards. So, earlier we have talked about the causes of foodborne illness. Now, we will talk about the sources of foodborne hazards. Okay, so what are they? So first, we have this food handler. And who is this food handler? Okay, a food handler is anyone who handles packaged or unpackaged food directly, as well as the equipment and utensils used to prepare or serve food, and or surfaces that come into contact with food. Okay, the food handler is the one also making, cooking, baking, preparing, serving, packing, displaying, and storing food. Or she or he can also be involved in manufacturing, producing, collecting, extracting, processing, treating, transporting, delivering, and sewing, and also preserving food. So in short, all of us are considered as food hungers. Okay, so food hungers. A food hungers, we can be a source of physical hazard. That's why, okay, we are considered as one of the source. Physical hazard, what are they? Example, as I have said, examples here, our hair is considered as physical hazard. Nails is considered as our fingernails as physical hazards. Of course, the broken glass, staple wires, they are examples of physical hazards. But as a food handler, okay, what example of physical hazards do we have? Of course, one example is our hair. Okay, if we will not use the hairnet, okay, there is the possibility that our hair will fall down and will get into the food that we are eating or serving. Okay, next is the food contact surfaces. So such as the food preparation table, the cutting board. So if it is not clean and sanitized properly, it can cause biological hazards. Okay, some of the bacteria will be left behind on the surfaces of the food preparation table as well as the cutting board if it is not sanitized and cleaned properly. And next, we have here the insects and the rodents. So what are the examples of insects? Of course, cockroaches, okay, the flies, the rodents, the rats, okay, or the mice. So how can they be a source of foodborne hazards? So in the insects and the rodents, because of their droppings, okay, their droppings can cause contamination, just like the water, air, and soil can be also contaminated with bacteria that causes biological hazards. Okay? And next, why the food is considered a source of foodborne hazards? Of course, if the food we eat, examples, the fruits and the vegetables, if they are not washed properly, of course, the dirt remains in these fruits and vegetables, as well as the chemicals that they applied to the fruits and vegetables. And if they are harvested freshly from the farm and they are newly applied by chemicals, examples of pesticides, of course, if they are not washed properly, they can cause foodborne illness if you will going to ingest that chemicals present in the fruits and vegetables. Okay, so next. How could a food handler contaminate? Okay, so just another, number one, sick food service workers. How they can contaminate? Of course, if they are sick, they can contaminate their co-employees or co-workers. Next, if they have the open cuts, scrapes, and burns. If they have the open cuts, scrapes, and burns, and then they are going to handle or prepare food, of course, they can contaminate the foods that they are preparing. And adequate hand washing. Of course, after using a CR, you did not wash their hands, of course, they can contaminate the food. Eating, drinking, or using tobacco. Example, eating, they are not using spoons and fork. Drinking, they are not washing their glasses. And using tobacco, or they are smoking. Just imagine the ashes of the cigarettes and they will go to the food that they are preparing. And of course, the soiled clothing. Okay, ano ba ibig sabihin ng soiled clothing? Of course, they are the clothes that they are wearing that is dirty. Okay, so make sure when you go to work, you should always change your clothes every day. Example, your apron, you should wash it every day. Okay, next, if you have cuts and abrasions, okay, what you should do? Of course, number one, you should clean the wound, cover it with clean, dry bandage, cover it with disposable gloves, then change gloves at appropriate hand washing intervals. Okay, if you have cuts and abrasions, you can still go to work, okay, because you will cover your wound by bandage, and then you will use gloves which is disposable. when you say disposable, after using it, you should throw it after using the gloves. Okay, so next, the management's responsibility on food handling. Okay, so if you are a businessman and you have these employees, you have these responsibilities. If you had a sick employees, you should exclude them. So, if your employee is sick, you should better tell him or her not to report to work. Next, you should always consider that he should properly cook and maintain potentially hazardous foods at correct temperatures. And you should monitor employee hand washing. And next, monitor sanitizing of equipment and utensils. So these are just the basic responsibilities of a management to their employees. Okay. So non-acceptable practices of food handlers. So if you are a food handlers, so coming to work when ill is not accepted. Poor personal hygiene, still it is a no-no. Unclean work clothes, okay, it's not also, you should stop also going to work without changing your clothes. False fingernails and nail polish. Okay, what do you mean by false fingernails? Of course, you have these fingernails to put in your true fingernails to become it longer. And nail polish. When you are working in a food establishment, you better not to have that nail polish. And of course, jewelries. Then uncovered cuts, scrapes, and burns. So all these should not be, or so all these practices are not acceptable in a food establishment. Okay, so you better stop this activity. So this kind of behavior or activities. Okay, next. So the proper attire for food handlers. I will show you the proper attire if you are working in a food establishment. There is the picture, the checklist. You should wear your head cap, wear your mouth mask, wear your smocks, or if you have a smocks. Okay, then wear your gloves, safety shoes, and your coat or your lab gown or your apron. Okay, so acceptable, of course, whether you can wear hats, nets, and hair coverings. Then your hair restraint, you should wear it consistently. Okay, so regularly. And if you have birds, especially boys, you should restrain your birds by using or wearing a face mask. And of course, a female or if you have a long hair, you should secure it under your restraint. You should not wear or let your long hair, okay, out o kumbaga ipakita natin yung long hair natin na maganda, and then hayaan natin yung hairnets natin na nakapatong lang sa ulo. Dapat nakapaloob talaga yung hair sa loob ng hairnets. Okay. Next, potentially hazardous foods. So what are they? So these foods can support the growth of harmful bacteria. So ito yung mga pagkain na kumbaga mabilis lang ito sila mapanis. So they are foods high in protein, high in moisture, and low in acid. So what are the examples of these potentially hazardous foods? Okay, so they are meats, seafood, eggs, dairy products, cooked rice and pasta, cooked fruits and vegetables, sliced fruits and vegetables. Okay, so next, where do foodborne illnesses occur? So, in the home, we have only 15% of foodborne illness. In the food processor, 5%. In food retail, 40%. And the other 40% comprises a 100
100% of the foodborne illnesses occurrence. Okay, so just imagine in our home only we have 15%. And the food retail, so example of the food retail, ambulant vendor, okay, in the stores that are selling mga pre-packed food, and the other, of course, they are the caterings, mga birthday parties, okay. And next, causative agents implicated in foodborne illness. So what are the agents? What causes foodborne illness? Of course, the 90% is from the bacteria. They are the pathogens. And the 6% from the viruses, 2% chemicals, and the 1% is from the parasites. Okay, so these are the causative agents of the foodborne illness. Okay, so as you can see, your hands, the palm of your hands, okay, what you can see can cause foodborne illness. So these are the list of bacteria, viruses, the Staphylococcus, E. coli, Salmonella, hepatitis, Listeria, and the Streptococcus. Okay, so that's the bacteria or the viruses that we cannot